Hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to the defense of Caen. Just outside of Caen in France, after the Normandy invasion, British forces are falling back to the final defensive line around Caen. German armor is advancing, including medium tanks and heavy tanks, too, that we've seen. An abundant force of Panzer III, Panzer IV, Sturmgeschütz, and even Panther tanks are approaching. So it's up to our forces to try to hold the line and make sure that we are victorious in our battles against the Germans. All right, we're going to go ahead and start off by using this against a target of opportunity. We've crawled inside of a tank to grab some TNT that normally would be used to sabotage our tank, but we're going to use it on the Germans. Let's see if that succeeds. Well, close, but no cigar, I think. Unfortunately, it spun a little bit to the side. But the crew could have been damaged, so it might give us an advantage in the battle here. We have a wonderful anti-tank gun here ready with about 40 rounds of anti-tank ready and loaded. And we've got an autocannon here hiding in the woods too. That should be able to chew up the Germans as they come down the field. Some of our tanks have been knocked out, but we do have some British tanks on standby. Lots of British tanks on standby. And it looks like the Germans have successfully broken through the line. British tanks now firing at their advance. Primarily Fireflies on the left flank. And we'll get some of these troops then to the right flank to hold. We purposely retreated in order to kind of keep things interesting. I thought it might be a little too easy just to hold them on the first line. So we've brought things over to the second line now. It looks like the Germans have picked up the pace with their attacks. We're going to need some heavy armored vehicles here right away. Get ourselves a Churchill and an Achilles to deal with heavy tanks, as well as a Firefly. No need for the Tulip. Get some heavier tanks to the right side. I'm getting a little nervous now of a possible German breakthrough. But would you look at that? 2 tanks already knocked out, but 2 Panthers approaching as well. And it looks like one of our Fireflies just getting hit too on the left. Mortars are ready to pound the Germans as they approach near the roadway. Lots of British troops are bleeding. As the Rob's Realism mod has been updated to have very tender soldiers, I think. Another Panther advancing there on the right. Alright, the infantry has arrived. Let's get the Achilles up and fighting. Oh, and it looks like that Panther has been knocked out. She's on fire. That tank crew's got to bail at some point, and they did. Very good. Alright, some of our supply trucks trying to make their way to the roadway. We've retreated some trucks from the front in order to get them back to the logistics at some point. Looks like a couple of our tanks are getting derpy too. Alright, let's get going, boys. Forward, forward. There we go. And we'll have this other Churchill come over to the left. I don't know where you came from. I don't know what tank you were from, my friend, so we'll just get you to HQ. Call for some tea. I'll go ahead and declare that we've already won, boys. Alright, British forces in their secondary trenches are holding really nicely. We set this up at the start of the battle. We have anti-tank guns, machine guns, and a few other things ready. We can shoot over our friendlies' heads a little bit there. Looks like we've got a position on the left to take, so let's go there. And the Germans are pounding away at some of the British armor there, only to be destroyed themselves. We've got a wonderful 17-pounder here and an autocannon that are wrecking German light vehicles and heavy together, with tons of infantry defending the field. I'm really surprised to see a few of these boys wounded down here. They're bleeding. They're down in this pit, tending to the mortar, and yet even they are getting wounded and bleeding. It's too much to actually heal all these troops. It'll take away from the action if we attend to each individual need. So we're going to skip that for now. Looks like a half-track was hit here as well. And when we dropped off some of our troops, we'll have that Firefly advance. We'll have this Churchill go to the right with an Achilles that is waiting with another 76mm gun, ready to hit anything heavy that comes down the way. British very successful in eliminating a lot of those tanks. The Germans seem to be attacking some more of our tanks. So let's call out a strike on those forces. We're going to call out a rocket strike. Perhaps we can kill some of those tanks. And I guess the closer to base we are, the closer our air support is. More Panther tanks coming in. This is the last battle. We must hold the line. We're down to about 2,800 points in order to hold. I'm going to go ahead and call out a different tank than usual. Let's call out a Sherman 2 to the left flank, just in case we lose one. And hopefully the aircraft successfully destroy those Panthers. Mustang coming in with rockets loaded. Alright. Well, a hit on something, not any of our tanks that we were hoping to see destroyed. Another 4 minutes for air support then. Well, at least they hit the ground instead of flying off the map. And they are not happy about this British tank here, this Churchill 7. That's parked right there in the trees. A lot of British soldiers here. We don't really have a lot of other places to run to. Oh, wonderful! Interesting. The troops there got killed by that ammo truck there that blew up, and another tank destroyed. So we are actually seeing some fight from the Germans. That's good. I'm glad to see that. I don't want it to be too one-sided. We're going to call up the rest of our Shermans now. We got quite a few of these tanks. And they're really good against any of those Panthers out there. Air support here will come again soon. I think the Panther's been destroyed. Maybe. Lots of infantry around. That autocannon should be doing work on those troops. Now do about 70 rounds and another 100 rounds. That's enough to hold for a while. Our defensive line on the right, not even challenged yet. Another tank destroyed out there. Oh, really cool to see the Germans actually getting an advance here. And a Tiger. We actually have a Tiger on the field that was destroyed at some point as well. Must have been in that previous attack. Look at that, another Cromwell down. We have two Cromwells we had down to one. And we've got another Sherman firing there. So it's destroyed 1, 2, 3 tanks of 3 tanks here, and then we have 1, 2, 3 in the back, 4 defending, plus 1 over here by the roadway, which is kind of part of a separate defense. It's more covering the 17-pounder in between shots. They're both taking turns. The Germans have 15 minutes to break through our line. And we've really called out just a great number of tanks now. We're going to continue to call up what we can. We're going to continue to call up Sherman Fireflies and Achilles so their heavy tanks don't break through. And we'll start preparing defenses for the base. We already have a tank there, so let's call up another tank. And I think we might need troops inside the trench. So just as a failsafe, just in case Jerry breaks through, we're going to go ahead and put some rifle squads and some anti-tank squads inside there too. We'll get rifles out just in case, as well as medics. Alright, we're down to 711 points. Keep in mind that lunar sail thing on the right side as well. When I reloaded this, it's popping up for some reason, so I don't know. It has something to do with the game. But if you are interested in purchasing Men of War Assault Squad 2, now might be the time. If you are watching this in February, part of the lunar sale from Steam, anytime is the right time to get Men of War Assault Squad 2. Ooh, that was a nice explosion. I heard it, but I didn't see it. I was too busy babysitting. Well, we'll let the troops take care of themselves then. Call up more infantry. Anybody who's bleeding, if they can't figure out how to pull out some bandages, then I guess it's just going to be bad times for them. I want to see more of these cool explosions because we've been seeing a lot of good destruction on the field for both sides. Much more even in this type of a battle. The Germans highly trained with very good equipment, and the British very determined with a mix of British and American ingenuity and engineering. Now let's get some more tanks into this trench line here. We'll bring up the Achilles. I believe the Achilles has maybe a better gun or maybe the same gun. I can't remember as the Firefly. It's a 76mm Mark IV, and this is the same, it seems. But the Achilles is more affordable, so they can make many more of them. They're just easier to destroy. Though if we put the Achilles in a low-level defensive position, it'll be hard for the enemy to crack. Alright, this right side, I don't think they're ever going to break through because they seem to be bringing their attention towards the center where they're losing a lot of tanks due to anti-tank guns. Ensure Major Patel's survival. Alright, that's the one who's back here, I think. He needs to stay alive. And we also, I forgot, had these crates too where we could set up our defense. I think that's the Major there. Just regular officer. Alright, well. Anyway, we have some staff defending him. Looks like there's a anti-tank gun there. Let's go ahead and man that. A lot of our guns firing off now. I can hear them. Lots of German tanks approaching. Lots of British tanks destroyed in the attack. Get rid of those objectives. And back to the battle, we see light vehicles approaching. We've got half-tracks, Tiger tank finally exploding. I don't know if that was out of the battle before. A lot of the vehicles for the Germans are very resilient. They're actually able to fight us quite nicely, meaning that they seemingly die and then they're actually yet still alive. So they're able to come back from the dead, it almost seems, though they've never been fully destroyed. Alright, I think our rockets should be ready to rock again. 200 points on that. We've got about 600. We'll call out another strike. A lot of German infantry out there. Infantry is easy to destroy. Oh, I hear a big boy. That's a Panzer IV making his way around the tree line. Germans being cautious on their approach. They know they've destroyed our first defensive line, but look at that. You can see the whole mix of vehicles that held them back. That is a crazy amount of vehicles destroyed by a small force from our previous run. Lots of trenches here that were able to hold back an astronomically large amount of troops. That's why we pulled back so we could see the second line in action. Alright, we're seeing light armored cars and a Sturmgeschütz 3F approaching. Alright, well, scratch the armored car. That's now down to the Sturmgeschütz 3 and the F variant on that one. Looks like we got a wounded soldier at the autocannon. But we played babysitter enough. We'll just let those troops kind of... Their wounds will heal. They'll be fine, trust me. Wow, lots of tanks firing. I think we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks just near the trench line, with the last one guarding the road. I want to try to call another strike up here. See if I can get these tanks to explode. They're in relatively close proximity. And an enemy tank destroyed. Sturmgeschütz F knocked out of the battle. Armored car there lingering in the back. Sort of recon, but it's near the rear for whatever reason. Enemy advancing tank destroyed. And more Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, and half-tracks coming up. Here comes our wonderful Mustang. Beautiful hit. There we go, boys. Nice. And the Germans are bailing out of that vehicle. Excellent. Panzer III knocked out. Very good. Alright, half-tracks approaching on the right. And troops are bailing and decrewing on the left in order to attack. Excellent work from the mod maker to have the vehicle stop and then attack like that. Excellent work indeed. Wow, look at that. That vehicle almost rolled. Half-track there lost control on the roadway after being hit by what was probably the Firefly's shot. Down to 20 rounds in the main gun on the road. Lots of British troops remaining in the trenches. The Germans having a real tough time attacking this defensive line. They've really not gotten close to it at all. They've been able to make 1 or 2 tanks through, but it seems like by pulling back, their vehicles have to go through the minefield of just wreck after wreck. And a Panzer IVH veteran coming up now. A veteran of the Eastern Front probably breaking his way through. Multiple tanks firing and missing at that. Finally going to be hit now here, I think, in the next salvo. Looks like he did, yeah. Wow, rounds just deflecting. And still in the fight. Hear a vehicle going up in flames. Veteran Panzer knocked out. Panther there in the back. I can't even tell which vehicles are active anymore. There's so many of them. Some of them look like they've just been severely damaged. Autocannon firing like crazy. And we'll go ahead and defend our last line, though I don't think the Germans are even going to get close to this. I think we'll pull back here and see if we can put 2 of our tanks facing this direction. I don't think the Germans are going to see this defensive line ever. Alright, let's see, while we're waiting for the defense to take out some more vehicles, let's see what we can do for Calling up an engineering truck, maybe making a defensive line here and putting some troops inside of it. We've got a lot of infantry on that front line. So just in case the Jerry's break through, which we can always simulate. Though it's a little risky. Knowing this whole bleeding mechanic, one round could land somewhere near the general, kick up some dirt, scratch his hand, and then he'll bleed to death. No possible way anybody could survive that, so we'll just leave it as it is. That bleeding mechanic is it's just dangerous. Otherwise, I totally want to see the Germans try to take this base. However, we are giving way, which does seem to actually benefit us militarily. I haven't had to do as much defending on the front line because we had a secondary line to fall back on. I'll get rid of that. Okay, there we go. We can build ourselves a big foxhole here. And let's see if we can build a trench line for... or rather a pit for a mortar. There we go. Alright, we'll see how the defenses look here in a few minutes. Alright, we're not going to call up any more reinforcements to the front. Anything that gets destroyed is goodbye for the British. And we'll let the Germans try their luck, though it seems like they've pretty much given up. I don't really hear anything big coming. Oh, there's a Tiger. Never mind. And an armored car in the back. That's it. That's all they got is the Tiger and the light vehicle back there. Even if we pull back now, Jerry's not going to make much of a fuss. Let's get a mortar up here. I think probably use some supply too. Wow, look at all those troops. Okay, we should be able to call up the Mustang again. I can still hear German engines running out there. Right now it's just infantry. Germans, at this point, may as well just surrender. There is not a single vehicle on the field, except for this 222 that is just simply sitting in the rear. Let's go ahead and fire there. See if we can hit it with the Mustang. Is that it for the Germans? Wow, we got some soldiers here kind of reconsidering their life. We've got infantry that are making their way up the main road. Looks like the Germans do have some reinforcements arriving after all. Handful of troops. Not going to be enough to dislodge the British, unfortunately. I don't even know if the Germans are attacking anymore. Could be time for a cleanup operation if we get some light vehicles going. Let's see what we got for light armor. Might be a good idea to call up a Willys Jeep. Let's see if we can watch the rockets on this plane hit that damn recon. Oh, way off. Way off. Alright, let's prepare a convoy to clean out the roadway here. Let's get a half track. A couple of these light cars out. There we go. Staghound would be a great vehicle to call up. Really good, that thing. We'll bring up the vehicles. Infantry is likely to run out of ammunition. We'll try to clean up the defenses a little bit, make sure the Germans are completely knocked out of the battle. One German armored car there, and sporadic infantry reinforcements. Alright, the Americans dropping off a Willys. Oh, this guy stopped digging his trench because vehicles passed by. Oh, there we go, mortar trench is dug. So we can go ahead and set our mortar pit up over here, just in case. And the Willys, half-track, and everything else can start opening fire. Oh, looks like the half-track actually have some troops inside of it. I didn't know that. Alright, boys, hop out. Alright, we gotta get the tea delivered. The boys at Normandy, so we're just gonna cut through here. Hope the Germans won't mind. There we go. Clean up a roadway here in our convoy. And we'll have the British troops clean up on the right flank. Looks like there's not too much on this right flank at all. Germans could still attack. There's still the chance of that. Well, it seems like with the 2 minutes 48 remaining, I think they might be done. We'll have our Jeep cut to the left and clear out the troops in the field. And half-track and support. Get the Bren carry up too. That's got a little bit more armor to it. Another Willys. And I really want to get a Stag Hound. It's 250, so we'll hold off. Alright, let's have... Ooh. That vehicle there. It may have been decrewed. We might be able to actually capture that Panther. We'll go ahead and have our armored car cut through to the recon to deny the Germans the ability to communicate for reinforcements, as that vehicle might have a radio. .50 cal on the Willys there, holding the line. Looks like there's a Stag Hound and a Stag Hound. Oh, with a tulip on it. All right, let's just call it the regular. Armored car there is cutting through, literally cutting through German armor. I think that vehicle there... Uh-oh. I think that Panther there might be able to be captured. Oh. Whoever was in this vehicle had their damn turret turned to the wrong side. They were looking behind them at the infantry. They were looking at the infantry and not the vehicle that laid right in front of them. Well, to deny the Germans the use of this vehicle just in case. We're going to finish this thing off. Beautiful. Alright, there's still an armored vehicle up there. The armored car. Try to engage that thing from range. Looks like he's finally coming out of hiding. The final battle. British armor versus German armor. Battle of the featherweights. Oh, Germans throwing AT grenades. Not fair, bro. Hit on the British, or from the British armored car to the recon. Looks like we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and have our vehicle retreat there. British forces are pretty much ready to recapture the trench line. And we can repopulate our original positions with the main base not being threatened at all by the German attack. Fantastic. Alright, looks like we get... Oh, did I get 2 Bren carriers? Oh, that's cool. Reinforcements have arrived and we have survived. Alright, let's take a look here at the British reinforcements that have rolled in. Excellent. And German forces don't even stand a chance. Alright, again, if you want to download this one for yourself, again, check down below in the description to look for the defense of Caen. Really, I think if you just search CAEN2 on Steam, you should be able to find it. A good one. A very nice defensive mission with unique little characteristics of tigers and panthers coming in to up the difficulty at random. I like that. Very nicely done. It was a lot of fun, and I thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. Thanks, and goodbye. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.